Thanks, Rebecca, for inviting me here today, and thanks for the other presenters as well. Some really interesting presentations today. I am part of Let's Go Zero. We work together with many charities in the sector, so we work with RAFT on many other initiatives as well. So Let's Go Zero is a national campaign. If you don't know about us already, we campaign for net zero in schools. We've got more than 5,500 actually schools that already signed up for their campaign, and that's the QR code if you want to join us if you haven't already. We work, like I said, collaboratively with many charities in the sector and other organizations, with councils, with the government sustainability programs such as the National Education Nature Park, the Climate Ambassadors, and we signpost schools to all these resources. So one of the, my role in the Let's Go Zero campaign, I am part of a team called the Climate Action Advisors. So this is a network of experts to help schools to become zero carbon. We feel that there's quite a lot out there for schools on sustainability. So we created this program to really help schools to go through this journey, to signpost them to the resources that might be more helpful to them, to help you to calculate your carbon impact, to find the funding and the resources. And we do this for free. We don't charge for this advice. And we have a team across England. I am part of the East of England team. I advise schools in Suffolk, Essex, and Cambridgeshire. And there's other colleagues working in other regions as well. So as a network, we've got a lot of expertise in the team. We've got people that used to be teachers, head teachers, and I used to work for the council in Essex. And there's a range of expertise in the team to help schools to navigate this journey and to meet the expectations of the Department of Education that all schools need to have a sustainability lead and a climate action plan in place by 2025. So they've been kind of recommending that schools have got a climate action plan in place by next school year. So if you have already started, or if you don't know where to start, and if you want some help in starting your climate action plan, we are here to support. The QR code in this page is to signpost to our advisor support, and then we will get in touch and book a meeting. So this is just to remind what the recommendation was in regards to climate action plan. So the DFE said he would like to see the climate action plans to contain 4 kind of sections, and one is the decarbonization, which a lot of what retrofit and energy that you heard from RAFT, biodiversity as well, which I understand is your next network meeting, and climate education and careers. And today, Rebecca was talking to you about adaptation and resilience, and I've got a few actions that we usually discuss with schools in regards to climate action plan. So a climate action plan ideally has all these sections, and we help schools to think about what kind of actions you might want to include in each of these in your climate action plan. Rebecca already brilliantly talked to you about adaptation and resilience, so I won't spend time reminding you again of the benefits, but just to give you this, I think this kind of give you a little bit of like a reminder what we need to adapt for, what we need to be resilient for. So just the impact that we can expect in the UK in regards the winters being warmer, winters being wetter, summers being hotter, and things like that. Just so it kind of breaks down in kind of 3 main risks for schools, which we try to advise the schools on, and just to come up with suggestions. Some really easy suggestions and some a bit more complicated. Some are low cost, some need some investment. So I just wanted to go through a few of them, and then maybe perhaps we can have just use the chat just like as a like you already here, we are already talking about adaptation, so maybe you want to put your school name on the chat, and then if you connect with any of these suggestions, maybe say, oh, I will look into this. It'd be brilliant to hear a bit more about the people in the schools present here today, and what kind of actions they are already doing maybe, or actions that they might want to consider for their school. Right. So starting with water risk, these are some of the kind of the actions that we talk to schools about. So checking for so it's all about conserving water and using less water. So perhaps you want to check whether your school have got any leaks. You want to involve students in a water audit, and then I always signpost schools in the East to the England Water Pack, which has got a brilliant audit pack, and they are able to do education sessions as well with schools. Perhaps you want to use these resources to raise awareness with students and staff, and and perhaps you've got some funding actually to go around the side the chain, like, or you just want to consider like next time that we need to change a tap, can we do something a bit different? Can we put a push tap so that we are helping to conserve water by not having of running water. And then another resource which we signpost to, apart from the England Water Pack, the ones from this charity called Water Aid, which talks more about water conservation and access to water in the world. And they've got some really lovely lesson plans as well. So if you go, I'll skip to the next risk, but if you want to think about something water related that you might be doing already in your school, or you want like you liked one of the suggestions, you think, oh, I want to do that. If you want to put in the chat, and then you can use that as part of your networking discussion. Flood risk. So what kind of things we advise schools in regards flood risk? To consider measures to implement sustainable urban drainage systems. So that's to reduce perhaps flooding in the community. To check your gutter cleaning rota to make sure it's being cleaned regularly. That's something that actually schools are quite good already doing it, but I'm just we always have that as a reminder as well. And just to look at what's your local risk, because that's one thing that perhaps schools haven't thought about. What is the flood risk in your area? And if the school is not at risk of flooding, is it the area surrounding the school at risk of flooding? And what is the impact of that in the school operations? Like I talked to at least 2 schools recently where the school is not at risk of flooding, but the community around is. So like, how do you account for that with your operations? What kind of plans you need to put in place? It's all about preparing, like Rebecca said at the beginning. And I'm signposting to a film also by Anglia Water about sustainable drainage systems, which can be very, very useful for talking to students as well about that. And the last one I want to talk to you about heating. So one of the things we recommend schools doing as well, like, can you go around the site and do a little bit of an audit, looking which rooms are quite hot, and then flagging that and thinking about what kind of measures could be implemented. So some blinds, some films. Can you, if you've got the funding to do that, also thinking about the playgrounds, like, can you build shelters? Can you consider planting to create more shade in the playground for the days that are really hot? Do you know if staff knows how to keep the room cool in the case of a very like hot day? Do they know like some cross ventilation measures to be able to keep the room cool the best way they can? And then some resources there that we signposting as well, such as a heat alert from the UK government that can be helpful, so you know about these kind of very hot days in advance, and also the joint union heatwave protocol with some suggestions as well about releasing some uniform requirements and things like that. So there's just some of the resources as a climate action advisor that I talk to schools about when we are helping them to write their climate action plans. I haven't looked at the chat to see if anyone was considering any of the suggestions. And
we have someone asking a question, or Chris is asking about some ponds, drainage ponds. Don't know if you can see that, Luciana. Shall I read it to you?
Yeah, yes, please, because I cannot see the chat when I'm presenting.
I think that's.
I don't mind speaking.
Oh yeah, there you go. You can speak.
But no, is that all right? Yeah, yeah.
Sorry.
No. So everything's been fantastic, but thank you for that. So yeah, so I think drainage ponds, we've got two of them. I'd welcome advice and guidance how to help the newer one establish better. It's just kind of left on its own. You can see saplings starting to grow and rise through, and no one quite knows whether that's a good thing in terms of diversity and the environment. It probably is, but does that affect it? So I'd welcome a contact about how to make best use of that space.
So you've got already two. Is that what you said, Chris?
Yeah. So we've got one that's probably about 50, 60 years old. It's got trees in, it's sometimes mud, it's sometimes water, it's got a deer in it, and it's just beautiful. Whereas the more modern one is closer to the middle of the playing fields, and you just think, I'm like, well, okay, 8, 9 years on, what's the best practice for this to serve its purpose in case of flooding, but also to be a useful environment for wildlife?
Yeah, like yeah. So if you would like to signpost to our support, we can have a look and see what kind of organizations might be able to help with that. Yeah, I'll be happy to look into it. What's your school, Chris?
Thomas Gainsborough School. We're just south of Sudbury in a village called Great Cornard.
Okay. Thank you for that. Anyone else would like to share what they are already doing in regards to adaptation? Any kind of measures? I've got a slide with all of the actions in one place. So if anyone would like to talk about any actions they are already doing or actions they might want to think about in regards to adaptation. And I don't know how to see the chat and present at the same time. So you're going to have to flag any messages, Rebecca.
Yeah, so we've got a question about, Louisa, can you just look up on the chat? I'm going to read out this last one from Rosie. So we'd like to know about funding for water butts, etc. There's no money.
Yeah, it's a hard one. I have to be honest. Some biodiversity funds will also fund water butts. Like if you are looking to do some other work, then you might be able to get the water butts as part of a package with like nature grants and things like that, if you are thinking about biodiversity improvements as well. If you put your contact details in the chat, I can try to see if I can find something specific for your school. Depending on where your school is, then there's a specific grant schemes available. So I'm happy. But the one that comes to mind quickly now, the local nature grant might be able to fund. I'll put in the chat once I stop presenting. That one is there's still some it's £500.
Yeah, the other thing is to I mean, I know you can't tap up the parental body for everything, but in terms of community you could put a message out to the local community to see if anybody wants, there's often gardening groups that would really like to support that kind of thing within schools. So I would consider trying to send a message out to the local community and seeing if they can support something like that. Yeah. Was there